driving home from college late at night. It was one of those nights where the fog was so thick that even with my high beams on, I could barely see 10 feet ahead. The road was quiet, completely empty, and I had the uneasy feeling of being the only person out there. After about half an hour, I noticed a figure ahead on the side of the road. It was a man, standing with his thumb out, trying to hitch a ride. At first, I considered driving past, but the cold guilt got to me. He looked exhausted, and something about him made me slow down. He climbed into the passenger seat without a word. His clothes were damp, like he had been walking through the fog for hours, and he smelled faintly of mildew. I tried making small talk, asked where he was headed. Without looking at me, he muttered, "Just up the road." The silence in the car was unbearable. He didn't move, didn't adjust himself, didn't even blink, just stared forward, stiff as a board. I remember tightening my grip on the wheel, trying to shake off the unease creeping up my spine. After a few minutes, he suddenly spoke again, his voice barely above a whisper. "Stop here." I pulled over near a dirt path leading into the woods. He opened the door and stepped out, still not looking at me, then walked straight into the fog. I let out a shaky breath and leaned over to see where he went. But when I glanced in the rearview mirror, my blood ran cold. The man wasn't there. The road, the fog, the trees, all empty. No footsteps, no sound, no sign that anyone had ever been there. I slammed my foot on the gas and didn't stop until I was home. To this day, I refuse to pick up anyone on the road at night. This happened a few years ago when I was on a road trip through the Midwest. I had been driving for almost 8 hours straight, and exhaustion was hitting hard. Around 2 a.m., I pulled into a lonely gas station off the highway. The place was nearly deserted. One flickering light above the pumps, and a bored-looking cashier scrolling through his phone. I went straight to the restroom. The second I walked in, something felt wrong. The smell of bleach was overpowering, almost burning my nose. All 3 stalls were closed, and the sound of dripping water echoed faintly off the tiles. I took the urinal, but that's when I heard it, breathing. Not normal breathing, heavy, slow, deliberate breaths. At first I thought it was just one person, until I realized the sound was coming from all 3 stalls. I froze. My eyes darted to the gap under the doors. I swear I saw 3 pairs of shoes. Old, dirty, mismatched shoes. One stall door creaked open slightly, just a few inches. That's when I saw it. A pale hand, unnaturally long fingers, curling around the edge of the door, nails yellowed and sharp. I bolted, heart pounding out of my chest. As I ran past the cashier, he barely looked up. I don't even remember getting into my car, but as I pulled away, I glanced back at the building. In the restroom window, just for a split second, I saw 3 faces pressed against the glass. Pale, wide grins, stretching too far across their faces, watching me leave. This happened last winter when I was driving home from a friend's house. It was late, around 1 a.m., and I must have taken the wrong exit. My GPS rerouted me onto some unfamiliar back roads, surrounded by thick woods. The deeper I drove, the stranger it got. The road narrowed, the pavement cracked, and tall trees leaned over like they were swallowing the path. I told myself it was fine, just an old rural road. But then I started noticing things. Rusty signs nailed to trees. Stop. Do not enter. Turn back. At first, I thought they were just old warnings. But the further I went, the more there were. Dozens of them. Some scratched, some broken, all pointing back the way I came. I slowed down, my hands sweating on the wheel. That's when my headlights illuminated something ahead that made my stomach drop. Mannequins. At least a dozen of them, arranged in a line across the road. Some standing straight, some leaning, all facing my car. Their faces were cracked, paint peeling, and a few had their arms raised like they were reaching out. I panicked and slammed the car into reverse, tires skidding on the dirt. As I turned, my headlights swept across the trees, and I swear I saw movement. Figures darting between the trunks, too fast to make out. I didn't stop driving until I made it back to a main highway. My GPS never showed that road again. In fact, when I checked the map the next day, it didn't exist. This happened in 2019, when I was driving home from work, late at night. My route took me over an old steel bridge that stretched across a river outside of town. Normally, the bridge was empty that time of night, but on this particular evening, I noticed a white cargo van pulled off to the side with its hazards blinking. As I slowed down, I saw the driver, or at least, I thought I did. A tall man in a hooded jacket stood by the van, waving me down. His face was hidden in shadow, but his hand gestures were frantic, like he needed help. I rolled my window down just slightly as I pulled alongside. "You okay?" I called out. That's when I realized something was very wrong. The man wasn't standing on solid ground. His feet were dangling just a few inches off the pavement, like he was hanging there, suspended by something I couldn't see. He didn't respond to me. His head tilted unnaturally, and he just kept waving. I panicked, hit the gas, and sped past. My eyes darted to the rearview mirror, and my blood ran cold. The van's hazard lights went out. Total darkness. And then, out of nowhere, the headlights of the van flicked on, and it started moving. Fast. Right behind me, I floored it across the bridge, the sound of the van's engine roaring closer and closer. But when I finally reached the other side and glanced in the mirror again, the bridge was empty. No van, no lights, nothing. To this day, I avoid that bridge at night. I don't know what I saw or what would have happened if I had stopped.